Artists, our first unit of the year is going to include a review of the elements of art. We've talked about these every year, and they're important because they are the tools that artists use, the tools that we use as artists, and also the artists that we analyze. And so it gives us a vocabulary or a language for thinking about art. What are the elements of art? There are 7 that we're going to be talking about. There are also the principles of design. We usually talk about those as we get closer to 6th grade. All right, so those include color, value, line, shape, form, texture, and space. I'm going to be creating a video presentation for each one of these, and it's going to include at the end instructions for a skill building activity. You will complete that activity and store it in your white folder as a reference. In addition to this video, I'll also provide a link to an optional video from KQED Art School. They have some really great short videos designed for kids. The first element we're discussing is color, and color is produced by light reflecting off of objects. There are 3 properties of color. We can discuss the color's hue, that is the name of the color, like blue, yellow. We can discuss the value of a color, that is the lightness or darkness of a color, and also its intensity, how bright or how dull it is. You guys are familiar with this. This is a really handy tool called the color wheel, and it is used to help identify relationships between different colors. It's organized with the 3 primary colors in the middle. You see them here in this triangle. And then the secondary colors that they create when mixed. So you can see here, these extra little arrows are the secondary colors. And then finally, with the tertiary colors, so the colors you get when you mix a primary plus a secondary, we get this really beautiful rainbow of a color wheel. As the review, the primary colors, these are the ones you cannot mix. You have to just purchase them. Those are red, blue, and yellow. And from these, we are able to make many, many different combinations of other colors. As a review, mixing secondary colors, red plus yellow equals or makes, that's right, in our magical color mixing bowl, it makes orange. Red and blue, do you remember what those 2 primary colors make? That's right, it's purple. And finally, blue and yellow make, it's green in our magical coloring bowl. All right, so there are the secondary colors now on the color wheel as well. We can blend colors. You can see here in a gradient so that it goes all the way from the brightest, most pure red, blending with the brightest, purest yellow, and you can see this gradation or kind of a slow fade into the orange. You're going to be practicing this blending when you make your sketchbooks for the year. So here we go, the blue and the red. You can see the gradient there, blending, and there as well. And there's our secondary colors. This color wheel has a bunch of blank spaces. That's because it's missing the intermediate or tertiary colors. This is the 3rd layer of colors that you get when you mix a primary and a secondary. You will be able to try this as well on your sketchbook if you choose. So here we go. We've got all of them mixed in, and you can get some like red plus the violet making the tertiary red violet. Let's see if you can guess what these are going to make. We've got the primary color blue, the secondary color green. What will appear in the magical coloring mixing bowl? That's right. Ooh, beautiful color. Blue-green. What about blue and violet? Blue-violet. Sometimes that's called periwinkle. And here, red and violet. Doing a little flippy flop there, making red violet, or sometimes called magenta. Notice that in these names, it's always the primary color first, followed by the secondary color to make red violet. And of course, these can have other names as well. All right, red orange. Making red orange. Yellow and orange in the magical color mixing bowl will make, I think you guys are seeing the pattern here now. That's right, yellow orange and yellow green. Ooh, I love this color. It's sometimes known as chartreuse. To me, it is the color of spring. All right, so we've got those blendy colors. And the tertiaries, you can see where those fall on that gradation from the primary to the secondary. Now, sometimes artists will group certain colors to create different effects in their artwork. Let's talk about those. Here's some examples, and notice how the names of these are actually made up of letters with the appropriate colors. That's so snazzy. So here we go. Primary. I bet you could guess what primary colors are based on those letters. Complementary, secondary, neutrals, warm, cool, analogous, and monochromatic. The primary colors are red, yellow, blue. If you mix the set of primary colors, you get the secondary colors, just as we saw. The secondary colors are orange, purple, and green. Analogous color schemes are made up of colors that sit next to each other on the color wheel. We usually talk about these as neighbors. These colors flow well together because they are closely related, sharing at least one color in common with another. Analogous colors are pleasant and harmonious, and you can see some of those groups of neighbors. Complementary colors sit across from each other on the color wheel. They are considered opposites and create a lot of contrast when they are placed next to each other. That means they look bright and sharp. They really pop. And a lot of sports teams actually use, or logos for different companies will use complementary colors because they look so good on a uniform. The warm colors are the hues red, orange, and yellow, and all the colors in between. Warm colors are vivid and energetic and tend to advance in space. This is an image from Georgia O'Keeffe, and you can see those just really beautiful warm colors. Here we've got an example of cool colors, including purple, blue, and green, and all the colors in between. I don't know about you, but they can definitely create a sense of being laid back, calm, and appear to recede or fade into space. Monochromatic colors are the last color scheme that we're going to talk about. These simply mean mono, one, and chromatic, color. And a monochromatic color scheme is made up of tints, shades, and variations of the same hue. So you can see our lovely pair here and all the different hues of green that the artists used to paint that pair. Oh, there's another one. Neutral colors. They don't appear on the color wheel. They are usually, I think in the one at our, the color wheel in our classroom are just in the very center. They include whites and blacks and grays and tans. These colors are very muted and earthy. They're not as bright. I would say they're still exciting though, because coffee and chocolate are brown, and I think they're very exciting. So here are the common color schemes, and you can always consider these as you're creating your own artwork. We're going to be using a number of these in our sketchbook design, and they're kind of like pre-made color schemes that you know are going to look good together. Expressive color. Color isn't always used realistically in artwork. Sometimes artists use color symbolically to help get an idea, feeling, or mood across to their viewer. Check out this portrait. What mood or feeling do you think Pablo Picasso was trying to convey by using this much blue? I definitely get a sense of sadness or melancholy from this image. Expressive color is seen in this famous painting by Franz Marc. Do you think the horses were really blue? Or was he trying to tell us something else by choosing to paint the horses in blue? Colors can have more than one meaning. Sometimes the association of a color is just really a personal thing. So someone may look at blue and think sadness. Someone else might look at blue and think about the beautiful calmness of an ocean. So when deciding what the artist or designer was intending to imply, you have to look for more context clues. You can't always assume that a color definitely means one thing or another. Now, this is a chart that can be a helpful guide when interpreting art or when selecting your own colors. These are some of the feelings that can be associated with a certain color. And there's both positive and negative associations. All right, the color activities I'd like you to try. So you're going to notice here that there is a 3rd and 4th grade activity, and then a more challenging 5th and 6th grade activity. Of course, 3rd and 4th, you are always welcome to challenge yourself with the 5th and 6th grade activity. 5 and 6, I definitely want you guys to go for the harder one. So for 3rd and 4th, you are going to create a more simple color wheel. Because we do not have art kits yet, I'm going to suggest use crayons, colored pencils, something that you already have at home. And then you're going to do exactly what we saw on the video. You are going to show what some of those complementary colors sets are. Feel free to go back in the video and find those answers if you're struggling to remember. 5th and 6th grade, you are going to try and create a value scale here. So you're going to start with, let's say, red, and you're going to try and fade out to the tint of red, which is what you get when you add white, which would be pink. And up here would be a darker maroon color, like a brick red. So you're going to see, can you possibly create a scale? You are going to create colors, some sets of secondary colors, some sets of tertiary colors, and you're going to create your more complicated color wheel. I'd love to see those labeled with the colors as well. Again, you can go back to the video and reference the color wheel that I showed you in this presentation. Here, you're going to show an example of analogous or neighboring colors. And finally, show me 3 different sets of complementary colors.